Welcome back to the Gun Collective podcast. My name is John Patton. Boys and girls, as per usual, we've got some incredible guests this week. We've got two. We're going to have a great discussion. But first, we got to talk about our sponsors, Blackout Coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/TGC. Use our code TGC. Get our Tenacity blend. It's got low acidity and high caffeine. You will love it. Also, it's about to be that time of year where you need some hot cocoa. Go get some from blackoutcoffee.com/TGC. Also, Radian is a new sponsor of the podcast, and we are talking about their Guardian, and the autofocus isn't working on the camera. They've got an optic protector called the Guardian, and the idea is to be able to bash your gun, your optic into anything and have it withstand that. It is for Glock MOS handguns. They're working on expanding that. This one is for the RMR, and it's freaking fantastic. Go to radianweapons.com. We'll talk more about that later. But our guest today, these guys run a company called Arc Division, and they make some of the coolest parts around for various guns. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I've got Patch and Clay from the company. Guys, how are you?
We're great. I was waiting for Patch. Just staring. Patch? Doing great.
Doing fine.
You seem so sad today, Patch. Are you okay? Do we need to give you a hug?
My everyday routine from the time my head lifts off the pillow to 4 o'clock in the morning when I go to bed is just always packed full.
Did you say you go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning? Hold the hell on. What?
Yeah, I aside from running Arc, I also work for several other companies. So my schedule every day is usually around a 16-hour long day most of the time. So
good Lord.
It leaves very little time for activities, and so squeezing in a podcast made me not that I'm pissed to be here or anything like that, but
how dare you?
Yeah. No, but most people don't know Patch actually does design all the Arc Division products. He's a CAD modeler, a graphic designer, so he does all that. So of course he does it for other companies as well, designing gun parts and whatever else he can make.
All the fancy stuff. So for those that don't know, aren't familiar, can you give the 30-second pitch of what Arc Division is?
Arc Division is a name that we made up, and then we made up more, and then we made up more, and then everything we did was fabricated out of more and more lies.
It's all the fabrication. Nothing is real.
Yeah,
nothing is real.
We were like, Arc sounds like a really cool name, and then 3 days later, either I texted Patch or Patch texted me, and we're like, what if we said that it stands for Advanced Recoil Compensation? We're like, oh yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh yeah. And then we're like, what if we make every product after some sort of reactor of some sort, like a nuclear power plant? So we had the flux, the spark, and then when we made the reactors, we named them the reactors. And then it just turned out that Tony Stark named the reactor, and everything is just a lie that we've made into something new.
I think that is the best explanation of any company that we've had on the show.
I wish we could say that we were had a definitive reason why we named everything, but it just has fallen into place.
As a graphic designer, visual hierarchy is very important to me, and the letters A, R, and C fit really well together, just so we could make a nice balanced logo.
It's also your logo is less complicated to machine into stuff.
Absolutely.
Which is also helpful.
But we also get a lot of people saying, what's NARC Division? And I'm like, it's not an N, and there's no A between an N.
You're going to have to add a little, go back in with a punch and just add a little dash in the A.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people actually have been asking that. One guy on Reddit actually sent me a message. He was like, hey, man, could you change the name of your company? I looked for NRC pistols for at least 7 hours the other night before I realized it was ARC. And I was like, you make a good point.
It's not a bad point. So okay, so it was kind of a haphazard starting, but why? Why did you start the company? Where did it come from?
I was doing photography I've been doing photography for SLR Rifle Works for a decade now. I got them as a client when I had 3,000 followers on Instagram and no one really knew who they were.
Sure.
And I talked to their machinists and I was like, what if we started making pistol compensators? And then I was like, I went to Patch. Patch had worked at SLR shipping for a while, and he'd left and he was working at Vetter Holsters. And I was like, hey, you want to start a company together? And we literally, I think we put.
Was it really that easy?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, everything's just fallen into place. And like I think we both put in $3,000 each, I think, and we made our first Spark compensator, and that was in 2017. And then,
Do you have one handy patch?
Always.
Let's see if I can.
This was actually a V2 of
the V1.
There we go.
original
Screen.
launch. I've got some V2s over there on the
I've got
shelf
one of
I gotta
those.
grab, but this is the Spark M for the Glock pistols.
Yeah.
I was telling Clay, I've got that on my. What the hell is it? The PSA dagger.
Oh, there's the original one right there.
Oh, look at that.
It's the very first one we came out with.
The smiley face.
Yeah, it became known as the smiley face compensator in some circles. And then we actually, when we went to the V2, we discontinued it because we found that larger single port actually ended up working better. Eliminating the side ports actually helped increase the muzzle control. So we discontinued it. And then I got so many emails, hey, bring the smiley face comp back. I've got to have it. So we ended up keeping it around, continuing it. And
Are you still making that one?
Yep.
What?
For
So
now.
give me an idea for the people that aren't familiar. What do your comps usually sell for? Are they like $400? What are we looking at?
Now, for our standard like aluminum anodized compensators that you would put on any threaded barrel, from the 43 to the 17 and Glock platforms, they range anywhere from 70 to $90, depending on how complicated the cut was. The original first design was a square block, real easy to machine, so very low machine time. We could offer it. I think they're on the website for like $70 now. But for our G5s, which have like a little bit more of a complicated contour cut, a little more machine time, so the price has got to be a little higher on those.
So those are $4,500.
Yeah, no, they're just under $100. So the adding a compensator is like a lot of people do it just to see what all the fuss is about. If not added into their regular rotation, some people get them and they're like, man, I can't believe I've been shooting guns my entire life without one of these things. Some people get them and they're like, not for me. But
we get a lot of why do you even need to compensate a 9mm if you can't handle 9mm? You're not really a man.
Oh yeah,
All
it
right.
is a very brutal.
Whatever.
Very, very brutal conversations about how weak my wrists must be if this is what I do for a living.
I don't understand the weird, like, you have to be able to feel all the recoil. We already went through that shit with AR-15s.
Right.
Remember what was it like? I want to say 2013, 2014, when the rage was like, we've got a new muzzle device and there's no recoil and blah blah blah.
I remember we'd go out to this thing called the Swamp Shoot every year with SLR Rifle Works and all these other companies would come out and we'd just go shoot full auto. And when we finally got all the brakes, the Lantac brake, the VG6 brakes, it was like writing your name in cursive was a possibility in full auto.
Right.
It was so sick. And now I'm putting a suppressor back on everything and I'm like, I guess I'll just take the recoil. So
well, I mean, we went as a community. We went from, being fine with a decent amount like flash hiders and stuff, and then we went to AR-15. All these breaks and comps and whatever the hell. The Lantac Dragon is the one that stood out as like the pivotal, the sort of peak of that time. And the same thing is now happening with pistols, and people are getting weird about putting comps on pistols. Like, if it makes you shoot better, why not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, every industry, the gun industry specifically, they experience pushback when it comes to anything new. When you why change something when it's been working so well for so long? But I think it's just like some people don't give the due diligence to actually put it to the test and see how it will actually affect their shooting in the long run. Yeah, 9mm pistols they're easy to shoot. It's very light recoil and everything like that. But some of these competition guys that are doing half power reloads and they're trying to get the fastest edge, those split times down as quick as possible. It just makes sense to add the peripherals to get you to the point of being able to compete at the highest level. So.
Yeah, that's why I run 380 out of my 9 all the time.
Right.
That's all I do is just, I'm all about chasing that dragon, chasing that dragon.
I do a necked up 22.
Necked up? That's what do we call that cartridge? That's like a hot air balloon. What the hell?
But it is true because I always tell people for our reactors, I think the best performing ones are our Glock 43 and our Glock 48 because those are such smaller handguns, and
Sure.
they reduce the snappiness like crazy. So people
Yeah.
always ask, what's your most effective one? And I'm always the 43 all day. And,
Yeah.
and we want to get into the 365. That's coming up.
Yeah.
We got the 320s. So
Well, I
Waited
think
too long.
the macro's out now, and that's a ported option from SIG.
Mhm.
I think if you guys applied your style to it, it could be one, more effective, and two, look better.
yeah, I think it'll be a nice little upgrade. I haven't actually shot the macro, but I've heard a lot of people say that they don't think the port is as efficient because it's not a part of the barrel, correct?
Correct. It's so the barrel ends, and then
Yeah.
there's just holes in the slide.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple like that. There's been a couple, and I think it's an interesting concept. But I agree, it's if you're not channeling and controlling gases, I'd be surprised how effective it actually is. Because I've got I'm actually working on a video with the what is it, the TAC ops, the macro TAC ops, and the X macro with the port. So we're going to run them side by side with a high speed camera and see just how much difference there is in recoil.
Very
'Cause
cool.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know with
Yeah.
those.
I've done some
Yeah.
tests like that, and it's fun running things in slow motion, trying to pick them apart. But I'm always like a little lackluster, and I'm always like, yeah, slow motion didn't do it that much justice.
Yeah.
So,
We did
Taking
a
the
test,
human element out of those tests is probably one of the trickiest things to do for sure, which is also like has the greatest influence on what you're seeing too. So
I actually have I haven't busted it out, and you saying that makes me want to. I've got the what the hell is it, the ransom rest.
ransom rest. I got one too.
I can
Yeah.
remove that. So have you seen any like crazy, we see these companies making really bold claims with ported guns and this and that. We reduce recoil by 65%. Yeah, like, do you guys ever see those kinds of numbers when you're doing your testing?
I mean, yes. So when we first started, actually, what we did was I had a buddy. He was a former Marine that became an engineer, and I sent him our CAD design, and he ran it through his airflow diagnostics at the University of Central Florida, I think, or one of the big schools. And that's
South Florida.
It was USF. I don't remember.
Yep.
But I sent it to him, and he ran it, and he gave us our numbers because he ran it through airflow diagnostics in a machine.
Sure.
And then we had some companies come attack us, which was a lot of fun. They were,
Why did they attack you?
Oh, they just
New kids on the block.
Yeah.
Making claims.
Yeah.
So what were the claims that they were pissed about?
Well, they were just saying that they were saying we ran no tests on anything, that everything we did was just made up. And I was like, I literally sent the airflow diagnostics and posted them again because it had been like 2 years since we started or a year since we started. And they said, like, all these people started commenting on it. And, then we had a wraparound design, our Glock Gen 5 wraparound design. We came out with that and we got picked apart. They said, you guys are copying us. And I was like, well, actually, we posted one in 2017 that was for the, what was it for, Patch? The
509s.
No, not the 509s. It was the we never made it. The VP9, the VP9.
HK, VP9.
Yeah, we did it for the VP9, the wraparound design in 2017, but we couldn't get it to run on the VP9s because there's no really aftermarket springs at the time for them. So we just axed them, and then we brought them out for the Glock Gen 5s. And
so when you say wraparound, what is that?
Like kind of like, yeah, you show it, Patch. This one.
Yeah, let me. I'll have to get up for a second, but
unacceptable.
Yeah, how dare you, Patch?
Kind of the worst. Oh, I'm gonna get a gold one, so you have to see it.
Well, he's got the ear pods in, so he can just walk around and talk. He doesn't even have to sit still.
Yeah, I'm not bound to a microphone like you losers. So the initial idea was so that it wrapped the conical design on the front of the slide.
I see.
And we were the type to, whenever I designed something cool, we'd be like, oh man, let's put this out there and see what everybody thinks. So we would do design work and sharing it to the public before we'd ever even get to the point of testing it. Because it's a very poor business practice, but like, who the fuck cares? It's the way that we want to run the business. So,
you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do.
Right.
Tell me my business.
So we'd share stuff, proprietary image designs months and months and months before we'd even be ready to hit the market with it. And then some of these other companies that have been in the game and doing it for a while, they'd come out with something eerily similar way before we could even get to it. And then when we'd actually come out with it, they'd attack us on social media telling us that we ripped off their design.
Okay.
So there was just like there's a handful of that, and that sort of like activity and just nonsensical behavior, I feel like has fallen off after the past couple of years. Obviously, we've been around a little longer. We're starting to take a little bit more of a foothold in the industry. More people know who we are, and we have credibility. So we're not seeing stuff like that so much anymore. So it was, I kind of viewed it as like growing pains. We're new. Nobody knows who we are. We're somewhat mysterious because we don't post pictures of ourselves. We're just two guys in our garage. There's just a lot of things playing against us that I was just like, whatever, we'll get over this.
Yeah.
So why don't you post pictures of yourselves?
I do.
Ah,
I'm all over there.
Clayton does. Yeah,
Yeah,
Clayton's
I do video.
fucking ham. He's got 19 Instagram pages, so he has to decide which one he's
Yeah.
going to post a selfie on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
it's just,
I'm trying to do a little better at having a little bit more of an online presence. I made the Patch Arcs page where I take terrible photos and videos in my garage of shit that I'm working
So
on.
are you just trying to counterbalance him?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then I reshare them. He posts like a terrible iPhone video, and then I repost it.
Yeah. But his photography and videography makes us look like we're a Fortune 500 company because his work's so good. So like, anytime I ever take a picture of something, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to share that. And on top of that, I got a real round face. It doesn't look great on camera. Cover my hair
Shut
with
your
a
mouth.
hat.
You're beautiful.
Why are you talking about yourself like that?
Yeah, you shut your mouth. You're beautiful, Patch.
Kings don't talk about kings like that.
We're gonna have to do this once a week for my self-esteem.
Yeah. So, what's the latest thing that is coming out from you guys?
So we just launched into the SIG landscape of doing our Reactor Slide, which is our integrally ported slide barrel combination. The 320C and the 320F is a 3.9 version and a 5-inch version. Those have been our latest offerings into it. They've been going really well. I feel like I waited too long to hop onto the SIG train because now that I'm using the platform and running it, I'm finding that I like it a little better and a lot of reasons. We're working on our own grip module for the 320 platform, and that's kind of like what everybody's been emailing me about later, but
Sure.
It's coming.
So
it's just,
when you say these names, people that are listening, because we do an audio version of this, they won't know what you're referencing. Can you describe what you actually produce?
Okay, so our Reactor platform is an integrally ported slide, and we make it for Glock and SIG platform pistols, where we'll actually cut a notch into the top of the slide and a corresponding notch into the barrel for the gas to port through without having to add a threaded barrel and a compensator to add overall length to the pistol. So you can stay within your factory footprint, but still take advantage of adding porting to the platform, making it easier to shoot, and so on and so forth.
So you just put this on like a fixture and just run an end mill right through the end of the slide there?
At the base of it, yeah, something like that. But no,
that's a gross oversimplification.
Absolutely, but I mean, you're not too far wrong. All of our stuff is made from scratch. We work with some of the best manufacturers that Central Florida has to offer. As you can see, there's no machines running in my garage, so all of our parts come from third-party vendors, which I've vetted over the past decade that we've been in the industry and doing this. So I've got a great group of guys making parts for us. SLR Rifle Works Machine Shop, which they are one of the pinnacles of the industry as far as like quality and everything like that. They handle all of our aluminum parts, and we've got another machine shop over on the west coast of Florida. The old retired guy I found, he was just running a small machine shop to feed his Harley addiction. And I talked to him for about an hour one day. He fell in love with the project, the idea of doing the integrally ported slides and everything like that. And he was all in at that point. So The first round we did the Gen 319. It was really well received. It did so well that I actually never even got to keep one from the run,
Wow.
and we had to ship them all out. But we pretty much just when we do something like that, we'll make 100 of them. We have batch numbers that we have to, minimums that we have to use when we're ordering third party. So we'll make 100 of them, sell them, take the profits from that, turn that into Gen 519s and another run of Gen 319s. Sell through those, add the 43, sell through it was just
Sure.
one of those things where we didn't have any sort of funding. This was all just from
$3,000
money we were
each.
able to. Yep, we started with $6,000 5 years ago, and we've just been using that same $6,000 since then to build the product and build the product line, the business, and everything as good as we could. I'm sure that I'm mismanaging it into the ground, but at this point,
Come on,
it's
man.
just so much fun.
You're better than that. You're talking shit on your own face, your business skills. We're gonna have to have a pep talk with Patch. Everybody leave comments to say nice things about Patch. So what has been your biggest challenge in growing this company? You said about 5 years y'all been going. What has been your biggest challenge to date?
Supplying the demand.
Yeah, we've had a
I
lot
think
of
at this
people.
Good problem to have.
We've had a lot of people though, manufacturers that we have been bitten by, where
Yeah, that too.
We've had bad quality control, we've had bad product, and there's not much you can do once they send it to you and you get it. And not much you can do unless you want to get lawyers involved, but which no one wants to get involved with that. So it's, we've had barrels come through that we've had to just eat the cost on,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's why we
they're all-
don't really offer the threaded barrels anymore because of it.
Yeah, there are a lot of predatory machine shops out there that'd be willing to hand off bullshit just for you to give them their money, and we end up just having to throw a lot of shit in the garbage. Like I want to say last year we ended up having to just scrap around $200,000 worth of stuff just because it was useless.
Wait,
And
are there like concentricity issues? When you say these issues come up, what kind of issues do you run into?
So a lot of the there's probably about 5 machine shops in the southeast that handle most of the manufactured parts that you see through companies like ours and like other stuff that you'll find on Optics Planet from lesser known companies, that even to the point of like major manufacturers like Zev still use some of these facilities and everything like that. And when you throw your hat into the ring with no budget and you're trying to order a minimum lot quality, you get about the attention that you think you're going to get once you're going into it like this. They make you pay for everything up front, and they'll tell you you're getting your parts when you're going to get them. There's no quality control throughout the whole process, and they'll say, and they'll stand on things like, listen, we've been doing this for the past 20 years, we know our shit's good, blah 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 blah, but then we'll get it back and the finish will be chipped off, they won't chamber rounds properly. There'd be a myriad of reasons. And then when you hit them back, they'll just tell you that it's your problem and they'll help you on the next go around. Like that's
spend
sort of
more
like,
money.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe
Well,
we'll get it right.
Oh, I mean,
right. These guys handle multi-million-dollar deals. And when I come through, I'm like, hey, I got 20 grand for some parts. They're like, all right, get in the back of the line.
Yeah. I mean, Patch and I have literally ourselves had to jimmy rig parts together to get things like literally just grinding with grinders. Absolutely. And polishing.
We had a run of 43 barrels that I ended up, for the most part, and it wasn't all of them, but probably about 50% of the barrels came back to me after they already went to the customers, and I had to reshape the feed ramps by hand.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
and it was, and then no accountability from the manufacturer.
When do you bring in this manufacturing under a single roof? Like, at what point? I mean, you've been going for 5 years. What's the next step to get there?
There's, when it comes to in-house manufacturing, there's a lot of variables you got to consider. Obviously, what is it that you're selling that can pay for that sort of thing? There's a ton of overhead when it comes to machining, especially when it comes to quality machining. It would be,
machines are not cheap.
Right. It's for us to launch our own machine shop that would hit all the variables that we need to for the quality of the sort of products that we're looking to put out. It'd be $3 to $4 million investment, not only in the facility, but power to the facility, the machines, tools to run in the machines, materials and everything like that. So it's kind of like one of those things like, what are you willing to deal with as far as, do I pay a little bit more to get the quality of the parts I want to run, or do I invest in, all of this headache to control my own thing? And we would be making, like, obviously more money off of making the parts in-house by myself, but there's one thing that I can't pay for no matter how much money I have, is the decades of quality that the guys that are making our parts already have under their belt. So I like to stand on the fact that not only are our parts like just aesthetically pleasing, but they are also, to spec. They're always going to work. You're never going to have problems with them. You're never going to get shit. If you do get shit, you can hit me up. I give most people my cell phone number. They can FaceTime me if they want to, and I'll bend over backwards and make sure that they're happy with their stuff by the end of the day.
You want to put your cell phone number out here on this show?
Yeah, it's 863.
8675309.
But no, Patch does do a good job of whenever there's issues. He pretty much always gives support. Like, we've had a few set screw issues with our compensators where we send them a brand new comp. We're like, oh, the finish or the anodizing must have been too thick inside there. Here's a new one. They say, do you want to send the old one back? And we'll say, put it in a sock and beat your dog with it.
Have you actually said that?
He said,
oh yeah,
not their dogs,
the
but
neighbors' kids.
their neighbors, whatever.
Neighbors' kids. I would never harm an animal.
No,
a child though.
The child.
Yes.
Punch them right in the fucking face. Old enough to talk back, old enough to get punched in the neck.
Yeah.
Old enough to talk shit, old enough to get hit.
That's right. So
that's why I beat my kids. No, I'm just kidding.
This is going really strange.
Yeah.
So
building a case against yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's assuming the NSA isn't already at his house.
Yeah, they're there.
So we've talked about all of these really interesting things that you guys do. How do you decide to, like, which is next? Like you were saying, you were a little late to the 320 thing. Why? Like, how did you get there when you got there?
A lot of it's money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's money. The two of us just starting with pocket change at the beginning of it and using that as a metric to build it. I made a mistake probably at the beginning of last year where I opened up a dealer network where I would, try to use, that to bolster sales and stuff like that. And it just ended up being way too soon. We were ending up, like giving out more product, and, they all want terms like some of the major manufacturers and retailers, they want, 90 days to pay you for the $60,000 worth of shit that you 180.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
so,
some of them want to put an order in for like 6 compensators, and you're like, thank you.
Thanks for that generosity.
Here's your invoice for $362.
Yeah. But the 320 thing, just I think I was hesitant on it because I was just, I'm still very new at this whole business owner thing and the responsibility of, dealing with my partner and I's money, that sort of thing, where I didn't want to spend beyond our means. So when it felt like I just didn't want to rush things, I think was where my head was at. But I'm trying to figure out like where I do need to rush things and where I don't. So just learning how to tiptoe that line, I think, has been
I will tell you this
my
right
biggest
now.
learning curve.
You need to rush the 365.
Yeah.
To stop fucking around and make the damn 365. Because what's going to happen is SHOT Show this year, some weird new thing is going to come out, and everybody's going to want that too.
Yep.
Y'all are going to have to make that.
I think the 365s, are they being made right now?
They are, in development. So we have on the machines right now, we got 19 Gen 5s, and then the next batch of slides coming down is going to be a refresher on the 48s, which I know a lot of people have been dying for, and the 365s.
You know what I say? Fuck the people that own a Glock. Get a 365. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Just buy both.
I love.
Glocks are just terrible.
I mean, you know what? I honestly, with the amount of Glock clones and all of that sort of shit that's hit the market, I'm kind of bored with it.
Yeah.
I'm like legitimately, I'm just like, all All right,
I mean,
some of them are really good, but others are pretty much fucking trash.
I mean, like I said earlier, before we started the podcast, our reactor slides on the OZ9 frames from ZevTech, like I said, we call them the PMS, the poor man staccato, because they're so flat with that aluminum frame and aluminum trigger assembly and steel, I guess, not aluminum, and then our slides. So yeah, man, well, aluminium. This aluminium over here.
It's as hard as steel, and it looks a lot like steel.
But yeah, so like when you get that solid steel frame in there, and then our slide, it's so flat. It's just
hold on, you can't hold that. You showed me that before the show. I'm gonna make you full screen.
This is a little goofball I made, which is not our
fucking
thing.
It's all right. Describe it for the audio guys because they get wow.
Yeah, so we got an Icarus Precision ZevTech OZ9 aluminum frame, the OZ9 steel trigger assembly, and then our reactor slide with a Strike Industries comp that is just goofy. I know this thing won't run. It's for sure not going to run, but I'm going to try it. Yeah, we're going to see what happens.
Just fucking send it.
Yeah, I feel like John Wick with this thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, and then of course I have an SLR mag extension, not ours, because
nice.
Whatever.
Those reasons.
Yeah, those guys at SLR.
I think the Zev OZ9 is one of the best Glock type clone things that has hit the market in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah,
people sleep on it.
Well, and with the 1911 grip angle too, I love the grip angle on the OZ9s.
Is that actually 1911? I didn't even notice. Or just shot it really well.
Are. Yeah, they are. It's a 1911 grip angle, and man, Al over at ZevTech killed it when he made that thing. It's
I definitely don't disagree. You know what I think the listeners need to know about though, and they're going to know what I'm about to say. Blackout Coffee. Blackoutcoffee.com/TGC. Go get yourself some of our Tenacity blend. You will not regret it. I'm telling you this. It's got low acidity, a boost in caffeine, and if you use the code TGC, you get yourself a discount. Buy their tea, buy their hot cocoa, all that shit. And then, of course, we've got Radian with their new Guardian. I'm trying to find the light. It's not my studio. I'm sorry. We've got the Radian Guardian. It's an optic protector. It's like a plate system that drops into the Glock MOS. They're working on more. And I've literally, I don't know if you guys have seen this. I took a Glock and smashed it into concrete against the optic repeatedly, just crushing this thing against a concrete block. And the optic held up just fine. And people said, oh, well, you didn't need to do that. Why are you even doing that? It's not about that. It's about protecting your shit. Like, that optic is really expensive. Put a little thing in front of it and protect it. Radianweapons.com, and the Guardian is the thing you need to look for. Okay. So the thing I want to know from you guys is, where's this company headed? Where the hell are you going? Because from what I've seen, you're creating really interesting, like visually stunning products that work. That's a great start. Where the hell are you going with all this?
Bankruptcy.
that's less deal.
Every time we get any money, we put it back into the company. People think, that we're, I still do CQM full time and in the media full time, and because Patch actually quit his job I shipped for ARC for 4 years and did CQM at the same time, to the point where I was shipping all night, every night I felt like. And so Patch quit his job at a holster company doing a lot of their CAD work and running their machine shop to take on ARC. And, we're to the point now where things are finally running smoothly. There's been many of calls between Patch and I, like, what the F are we doing? Like, what is going on? Like, we're dying. And then right now, everything's running pretty. Oh, bye, Patch. See you later.
I guess he's dead now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there he's back. Okay.
Oh, hey, Patch. So we've had many of those calls, but we have a lot we want to get into. I don't know how far Patch wants to get into it.
I mean, you can stay very high level. You don't have to give details. I mean, I would love that. But
we're not secretive at all. We bought that SLS printer, and we're printing a lot of things. We're going to be getting into a lot of things there. We have some kind of non-pistol related products we're working on with that.
Mm-hmm.
When you say that, are you talking like rifle, shotgun?
rifles.
Oh, this is great. The looks
Yeah.
for those that are
Talk about
listening, the looks they're giving each other of like, should we say this? I don't know. Should we say it?
Yeah. Yeah. There's, but like I guess we're trying to make some things with new products that came out that aren't necessarily for the rifle to run or work, but accessories to help the rifles,
companion
and tools,
accessories.
companion accessories. I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, we could say it, and then somebody will beat us to it.
I mean, I'll tell you this: this episode won't come out for probably 4 to 6 weeks after we record this.
Okay. Well,
So
I mean,
you're giving yourself a buffer there.
Yeah. I mean, so I went to Vortex Optics and I trained on their new Impact 4000 I'm doing a sniper competition in January, the Mammoth Sniper Challenge, and they have that little laser rangefinder remote that you can put anywhere on your gun. So we're trying to make our own grip module where it'll go into the grip, so you can just hit that range and you don't have to lift your hand off. But you know, we're working on that now. It probably won't be out in 6 weeks, but get on it, Patch.
Get your shit together, Patch.
I need you to screw your 16-hour days. I need 18-hour days.
Yeah.
I've been working on a lot of stuff this year since going full time. I feel like it's a daily challenge to try to prioritize what I think should be the next thing to come down the product line. We want to change a couple things about like some of the products we offer since obviously releasing the Reactor series for both the SIG and Glock platforms. We have a lot more people that are like focused on that because a lot of people just want that integrated footprint. They want to be able to carry it. They want to be a little bit more confident with it, having that added peripheral on the front of the gun. So we've seen like a high spike in sales in that direction, and kind of feels like a little niche that we fell into. So we're going to focus more on that, expanding that line. The 320 frames is something that we also want to focus heavily on, but we'd like to get to a point to where we could, offer a full-on Glock platform reactor frame, slide, barrel package, and we want to do that for both the 320 family. There's like 100 different 320s and all the Glock 9mm stuff, and even if I want to do some fun stuff, like I want to make some of those Glock 40, the huge 10mm, we'll just it would just be super cool to make
when that shit's done. You call me. I've got a Glock 40 with one of your competitors' slides on it, and you call me, and we're gonna put that shit on there, and we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, I definitely want to make a 10mm reactor for people in Wyoming and Montana.
I will say this. In my experience with the Glock 40, I have tried running a comp on it. I've tried shooting it suppressed. It is god awful. It is there's just shit coming back out of the gun. I don't know if it's a timing issue with the springs. I don't know what the hell the problem is. That's for you guys to figure out. But it's been like anytime I shoot with anything besides a factory barrel, it's terrible.
Yeah. Wait,
load.
If I had a list of things I just text Patch randomly with my ADHD brain, where I'm like, we need to make acro mounts or like adapters for our slides, or we need to like make just the most random stuff. But the list would be so long. It would be absolutely ridiculous of things I just randomly shoot at Patch to make. Like we've been talking about getting into some optic mount risers and stuff. We've been talking maybe about getting into the AR-15 market.
That's an interesting, I mean, honestly, that's a bold thing. If you don't come with something actually innovative, then it's just a Me Too product, and that sucks.
And that's what we don't want to do, because there's a lot of good companies. There's a lot of companies out there that make amazing rifles. SLR makes amazing lowers, Radian primary weapon systems. They all make great. ZevTech. They all make great rifles. And so, it is. A lot of it has to be aesthetically pleasing, which is what we, like, but coming up with something innovative and new, because there's a lot of people that made innovative and new products that I won't name that, it's just, why did you do that? And
sure you don't want to name that, because I really want to know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember their names, honestly, but like, What was one that like the
I've seen some goofy shit over the years.
it was
I've
like
seen
what
some really weird stuff.
wasn't there one company that made a rifle that would just drop the mag when it was empty?
That was Cobalt Kinetics.
Okay,
And
yeah.
they do not offer that gun anymore.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because it was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like that was shit. That shit was stupid.
Yeah.
It made sense for competition, and that was it. Everybody was like, "Wait, why?
Yeah, dude.
Why is that happening?"
I don't want this mag anymore. Dump pouch? No.
No,
Lord.
on the ground.
I think
Yeah.
more recently there were some 45 degree, or I don't even think they were 45 degree. I think they were like some like 28.7 degree optic mounts that some company was selling for like $900 a piece. Like
I
what were
covered
the
that on the news. I can't fucking remember
Yeah.
what that was called, but it was like an optic mount that like shifted. Yeah, it was like a one-piece unit that looked like somebody held a blowtorch to it too long.
right?
They wanted stupid money. It was like $1,500. It wasn't $900. It was way more money. And I believe I heard through the grapevine that their excuse was we just wanted to offer a product that was really expensive just to show that we could.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
how many
how'd that
people
work?
want it, but I think it's between 0 and 10.
That's one thing we do too. A lot of our margins aren't we keep our margins as competitive for ourselves as we can too at ARC, which has also hindered us growing quicker because we don't, we're not charging probably what most companies would charge to be able to grow, but it's worked and we're happy and we have happy people that buy from us all the time. Patch is actually pretty big on Reddit, and he tags me in a lot of posts. I don't do the Reddit. I always get in trouble on the Reddit.
Oh, dude.
I don't do it. I post one thing, I get yelled at by everybody.
Yeah. How dare you say show some of your own work?
Yeah. So Patch does it, and he's got a great little following on Reddit of people. I think what's your name? Arc Overwatch, or
I think it was something that I'd made. Like
That's
it was
a
my
good gamer
original
tag.
Reddit. It was on Overwatch, and
yeah.
it was before the game Overwatch actually came out. So I met like the weirdo in the bell tower is what I met. But yeah, I think everybody that sees my Reddit tag correlates me to like a super nerdy gamer, which I'm not denying. Like I have several hundred hours in Starfield already.
Wait. Pump the fucking brakes. You just got done telling us you have 16-hour days and you have 100 hours in Starfield, a broke-ass game?
I was exaggerating a little bit. There are I do have some,
but he does. I'll text him at like 9:30 at night. He'll be like, I'm just finishing up a render, and then I'll text him at like 10:30. He's like, I'm on Starfield. 3 a.m. So
honestly, though, if you don't play shit like that, you go crazy.
Yeah.
If you don't like completely connect.
I definitely worked on my work-life balance, and while I do work crazy hours, I will take entire days to go golfing on the other side of the state.
Have you guys seen any of your stuff be copied by video games yet? Because it's coming.
We actually
Go ahead.
You go first, man.
The people from there's a game Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov. Had a representative reach out to us, and like I thought it was spam, and I didn't really believe it, and I never heard of Tarkov, but I think that I slept on that and I fucked up. So if the guys from Tarkov are out there listening, send me another email. I'll send you whatever you want.
we actually
I'd love to see it.
We got a call 2 or 3 years ago from an executive producer for John Wick. And and they were like, we would like to put your comps in John Wick. And I was like, anything. I don't have a gag reflex. I was like, what do you want from me?
You want me?
I was like, what do you want from me to do this? And then they were like, we'll get back with you. And then we never heard back. And Taryn got that, of course. But yeah, that was a big one. I was like, I called Patch. It was when I was still shipping everything myself, and I was like, Patch, we might be in John Wick. And I thought, dude, I was like, I didn't tell anybody when it happened because I was like, what if it doesn't happen? Which is good, If I would have gone out there and been like, we're gonna be in John Wick, and then nothing happened, then we
we're in it for half a second. Look, that's our thing on the guy in the background.
Yeah, it's like Salient. Right? Salient Arms got in 13 hours right before they disappeared off the face of the earth.
Oh yeah.
What happened to them?
What the hell? What happened to them?
Evoke and the airsoft company bought them.
E-Vike.
E-Vike, yeah.
E-Vike.
E-Vike bought them, and that's that. It's like,
Wow,
it's
I
like,
did not know that they just like gave up on the company.
I think their website's still up. You just can't order anything. I've checked on it.
That's cute.
Well, and then it was like weapons armament research. I always liked weapons armament research, and then they got acquired by Radian, and Radian, their ramjet is super sick. I have a
I
ramjet.
love that thing.
Yeah,
It's very good, especially for the size.
and a lot of people are like, oh, you have a ramjet. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. Like, competition is healthy, and also I like the guys at Radian. I know a lot of guys at Radian. I've done work for Radian through CQM. I've done work for ZevTech. I did ZevTech's video, the Who We Are video. I did their Christian Craighead video. Like, I've done, and I don't see them as competition so much as, inspiration to do something better. Radian has, their rifles are top notch. I have a Radian Mod 1, and like I said, I love all that stuff. Yeah, I love all their stuff.
I feel like we're kind of fucking spoiled for choice in the industry. Like we get a lot of these, what one thing would you buy questions, that is like when somebody is either thinking about getting into guns or maybe wants to get a new one, you get, hey man, what should I buy? And I was like, well, shit. There's about 50 different options in each category that are all legitimately good. Some are trash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And people always come to you. They're like, what should I get? And you're like, oh, get a Radian Mod 1. They're like, oh, but that's $2,800. I'm like,
you're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. They're like, well, I found this one for $650 online. I'm like, okay, have fun. Good luck.
That Anderson rifle's gonna kill you before it kills anybody else.
I shot a Bear Creek Arsenal 50 Beowulf somewhat recently, and I was terrified. I was like, okay, this thing's definitely gonna blow up, and it ran. It was just fine.
If people ask what gun they want to get they said, I want one gun to conceal carry for home protection for everything. I either say a 320 or Glock 19. That's the two I go with every time.
I always tell people to go rent guns, go try a bunch and see what you like the most. Cause inevitably they'll get a Glock and be like, oh, I like this other one a little more. You should have told me to get that one. Like,
yeah.
For fuck's sake.
I just tell people Glocks are like Legos for adults. Like, you buy it and then you start getting after it.
What's the first upgrade that you put on a Glock? Do you go trigger or sights?
Trigger
sight. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Patch?
There's so many variables to the question. So a factory Glock, I'm going trigger. Absolutely.
What are the variables?
All right.
So it just depends on the Glock. Is it a Gen 3? Is it a Gen 4? Is it a Gen 5? Is it a
They're all the
Glock?
same.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Get the fuck out of here. They're all the same.
No, I prefer the Gen 3 stuff, mainly for the recoil system. I don't like the double spring that Glock went to. I've seen it fail, like in very rare but weird instances where you
Really?
want to. I feel, especially like some of the aftermarket Gen 3 stuff where you get like a titanium rod interface as opposed to a mold injected plastic and stuff like that. The big problem with I don't have one, is that flat disc at the back of the Gen 5, and even like it's back to Gen 3 on the 26 and Gen 4s. That thing can get tweaked and out of shape just a tiny little bit, and it can mess with the timing.
Yeah.
As far as like ejecting the rounds properly. So just that, especially the last couple of years, the quality control of the factory parts that I've been seeing has kind of gone down a little bit. But those things comes in like fits and waves where they'll be bad for a little while and then it'll pick back up. And some people may never even realize it, but nobody's immune to quality control issues. So I think the Gen 3 platform, as far as that goes for the Glock, was a little more simple. That means there was just less to foul up. So Gen 3, I'm changing the trigger right away. Gen 5, I'm changing the spring.
Yeah, that's true. I don't own a single Gen 4 or Gen 5 that has the double recoil spring. I swapped them all, and I do the plunger in there.
Yeah,
the little butt plug.
Yep. I have a few of them, but I rarely shoot them.
Yeah.
We just use them for demos and that sort of stuff, advertising and whatnot. And there's not a time when I'm like, man, I really want to shoot that Glock. They just, there's something about them that's just meh.
I'll tell you what I want so bad.
All right, tell me. I was about to ask you guys what you get excited about. So this is perfect.
Dude, I want a Staccato XC so bad.
Okay.
And I want to send it to Iron Monkey and have them polish it out and even do maybe Gabe Tam's little topo on it. I think it's that they've been doing, because Iron Monkey does our dark slides, we call them, and but every time I see them post any 2011, it doesn't really matter. But I love the XE, but any 2011 I would take. Terran's is sick. I mean, I don't own a single 2011.
What?
And not one. No.
Why not?
Me neither.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why not?
Because I have the poor man staccato right here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I got a $500 million worth of Glock parts over there on a shelf.
Yeah. No, I want an XC so bad. That's on my list, but it's just a hard expenditure when we have so many other things we're spending money on right now. Either like I just have an anamorphic lens that I bought for CQM that was, your eyes are my eyes right now internally. Anamorphic lens set, the Mercury lenses from Atlas Lens Co. So that's a huge expense. So how can I justify $4,300 on a 2011 when I'm spending $18,000 on a set of anamorphics?
Why the anamorphics? What does that provide you?
Just a better film look. Bokeh roll. I'm a big, as versed as patches and Glocks. That's my cinema. We shoot. I have 2 red cameras that we shoot on, and just
I'm coming to your house. Good God,
all about the cinema stuff for me. Yeah, I'm perpetually broke. It's constant. You can ask Patch. I'm like, why am I broke all the time? And it's because
why am I broke? Because you have a Lamborghini and cameras.
Yeah, literally. It was either
I know.
I told people all that. I'm like, it was either a Tesla or my red Gemini. So
what? And the drives for those things are all stupid expensive too.
Yeah, I think the 960 gigabyte drive I have is like $4,000. The whole kit, like when I bought the camera, I took it out of the loan from my parents, thankfully, so there's no interest on that. But
mom and dad,
hey mommy, daddy, and it was, I think, fully rigged. The red with no lenses was $29,900.
Ouch.
Yeah, and now actually I hardly use it. I use we have Sonys, and I use my Sonys so much more, but mainly for ease. But I have some friends who shoot like Patrick Mahomes NFL stuff, and they use Sony FX3s and FX6s for everything. And I'm like, but they also own Alexas and Reds. So,
but they shoot with the
Sonys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's interesting. Patch, what gets you excited in the gun world right now?
So aside from the ARC stuff that I've got coming out, which obviously I'm always floored about, I do work I do work for other companies, and I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I can say that I have been working on some lever action peripherals for a well-known Florida-based company, and man, they are fucking fun. The lever action rifles, like I have every single one of them in my office right now. The Marlins, the Henrys, I've got even the shitty Citadels and like a Rossi in there, like a handful of other ones, and working with some of those lever action guns, like that. Like I understand how America became so obsessed with firearms, because that was our pivotal platform of where it became really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Before
it's
that,
like
you were just
visceral thing to shoot those.
Yeah, and think about the technology that they came from. Right before that was like breech lock pistols, or they were fisting a musket to get the next fucking round downrange. So like as soon as that like whole rapid fire rifle thing came, it was just you feel it as soon as you pick one up and you rack that first round in. You're like, okay.
I won't lie. I'm about to do some work for Mad Pig Customs, and they're sending me a 30-30, and I am stoked about that lever action. I'm very stoked.
I just got, and I don't know if I've said this on any of the TGC stuff yet, but this will be out forever in advance. I just got a Mad Pig Henry Model X in 357 SBR.
Nice.
Nice. And it's got a really goofy finish on it because, it's me. Why not? I'm telling you, bro, you are going to shit yourself. Have you ever shot one of theirs?
Yeah. So my buddy Reagan, who owns GNP Tactical, had one of the Marlins from 30-30 from them, and he sold it, and I was so mad because I would have bought that right out from under him.
Yeah.
No.
He sold he sold his entire gun collection.
What? They're just too cool.
I swear, not really, but
he suicide. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, he sold. I bought two 22s off them. I bought suppressors. How many suppressors did I buy off them? 6 suppressors off of them.
Yeah, you bought 6 suppressors off.
Yeah.
Dude,
You
I'll
got-
tell
you
what,
got 2
if I
of
ever sell
those.
my collection, you better call the fucking hospital.
Yeah, dude.
Problem.
Yeah. We finally got our FFL and SOT, and I've just been hoarding suppressors like a psychopath.
Same.
Yeah.
I just recently showed a video where I like sort of unveiled the new studio wall.
Yeah.
And it's got all kinds of shit. And people are like, how do you have that many fucking suppressors? Well, an SOT is a wonderful thing to have. It's a wonderful thing to have. And honestly, in the media side of things, it's very it's nice to be able to go, okay, well, I need to do this can on this gun and just have the options of mixing all that shit up.
Yeah.
I actually have something that will launch. The video. I'm trying to get the video done before this episode comes out.
Okay.
It will have launched before this episode comes out. But PTR Industries is making a Inconel titanium printed suppressor pass through that is really
PTR, like the
roller lock. Yeah.
Or roller delayed, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I have 3 of them that they've sent, 7.62, 9mm, and 5.56, and they are the way they made them. The printing, the titanium printing at the end is like a sponge.
Perforated.
It's
So
like
it's
perforated.
like-
It's like a sponge at the end.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh,
like,
micro
wow.
perforations.
and so you can actually like put your mouth on it and blow into it. The pass through, you can feel it, and they're telling me that their tests that they're having come back on it are out of this world. Like the
That's
results.
really interesting
So,
because that's getting into, you know, like aerogel technologies, just like the concept of having voids and pass throughs that are smaller than what we can perceive visually.
yeah.
Ooh,
Well, and when
that's
they
interesting.
told me it was pass through, I got it and I looked at it. I was like, "How is this pass through?" And then I noticed that on the tips, there's like little, like I said, like little pieces all the way around the top where it's like you can tell that the material is more porous and like sponge looking,
Right.
and that's where it's coming through. And it's just like, yeah, it's nuts that they can make that.
That is super interesting. I can't wait to like, 1, see it, 2, hear it,
Yeah,
because it's got that sort of material on the end that has to have some effect on the attenuation of
Mhm.
sound, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. They're saying that they had some sound testing done. They're saying it's. I can't talk about that how they
Sure.
how they graded, but really, really well.
No.
I am excited about that.
Yeah.
And I hope our audience is just as excited. Oh, you know what else I'm excited about? Blackout Coffee. Blackoutcoffee.com/TGC. Also go to radianweapons.com. Check out the Guardian optic protector. Guys, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the website? It's arc-division.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Go to that website. Is there anything else you want to plug before we roll?
Patch. Ooh.
Ah.
No, I want to
Oh.
plug Patch.
That's the after-hours show.
You can imagine what our DM thread looks like.
I
Yeah,
can
and our
imagine.
OnlyFans link is no.
Well, seriously, I appreciate you guys coming on. I appreciate you sharing all the insight into the brand, and I hope people go check it out and sort of appreciate what you're doing, because it's the style and implementation of what you guys are doing is some of my favorite in the industry right now, and I
Appreciate it.
genuinely
Thank
mean
you.
that. So
Thank you.
thanks again for coming on, and we'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for listening and watching.
Bye.